Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to learn Linux networking command. In this video, you will learn how to check network interface, how to bring network interface up and down, how to set static IP permanently, check and change the default gateway, add and delete static routes, and test the connectivity and doing the troubleshooting. This video is very helpful as a Linux administrator, and we will learn how real time that command works into the production environment. Here we perform one practical lab, and in this lab we assume we have one RHEL or CentOS 9 server, and in that server network interface is present. For your case, that network interface is different. So here assume that your network interface is ENS 224, and that interface have one IP address. That IP address is 192.168.235.134 subnet, and also have one default gateway, that is 192.168.235.2. So when we perform this activity, we assume that this requirement present into our Linux server. So first we check the network interface into the Linux server. How many network interfaces are present? We perform the activity. First we check the network interface with the help of IP link show command. When we type IP link show command, that time we can see there are two network interface present in my Linux system. In your case, you see only one interface. Here, my first interface name is ENS 160 and second interface name is ENS 224. 160 interface is shows up mode, means that 160 interface is our up, and 224 interface is also my up and active state. Also, there is one alternative command, that is nmcli device status. When we use nmcli device status command and hit the enter, you can see the device type, state, and connection. These four types do you see in your console, and you can also see your device state is connected and connection name is ENS 160 and ENS 224. That connection name is wire connection. Why these two differences present into the Linux server? Can see the device type, state and connections. So we successfully check the network interface into the Linux server. Now coming to the IP address. How to check the IP address into the Linux server? So with the help of IP address show and your interface name. Here when we type IP address show the device name, that is ENS224. See what we get? We get the interface IP address of the ENS224. So what are the my IP address? My IP address is 192.168.234.135. My interface state is up and running, and also you can see the MAC address of the network interface card. So these are the basic information we see when we type IP address show device name. Here we can also see ENS 160 state is up and running. Also we can see the IP address 192.168.235.134. Here my ENS 160 IP address is different. The important point is you cannot assign the same IP address to the both interface. Suppose you can do same IP address into the different network card. That time you have to face the network issue into your Linux server. So please do not configure the same IP address into the different network interface. In IT term, we say that if you can configure one IP address into the two different network interface, we call that looping. Now you can also see the IP address with the help of IPA command. See, when you type IPA command, here you can get the all information about your network interface card. Means there is no specific interface you have to use to check what is the IP address of your interface. When do you use IPA command, you can get whatever your network interface present in your Linux system. That interface list you will get with the help of IPA command. So here we get the list of ENS 160 and ENS 224. Now, how to bring interface up and down into the Linux environment? First, we check how many interface present in my Linux system. How do you check? We use nmcli device status command. See, in my case, there is two network interface present into my Linux server. So I want to bring down one interface into the Linux server. How we can do? We can use IP link set device name and down command. See, with the help of IP link set device name and which state do you want, that is down or up, it's depend on you or depend on your scenario. So here we check how to down the working interface into the Linux server. So here we use IP set, sorry, IP link set and my device name and that device state. See, when we down the interface, then we have to cross verify that interface is down or not. With the help of nmcli device status command, we can see we successfully bring down the ENS224 into the Linux server. Now, the main important question is, if someone asks you, these are my XYZ interface, I have to down that interface for 10 to 15 minutes, and after that, once we give the confirmation to up this interface, that time you have to up that interface. So the challenge is how to bring down the specific interface into the Linux server, because many people doesn't know how to down the specific interface into the Linux server, or they get fumble when someone said, "Ki, I want to down my this specific interface for a couple of minutes." So that time, don't panic. First, you can check how many interface connected into your Linux server with the help of nmcli device status command. When you hit the enter, that time you will get the interface link, how many interface connected into your Linux server. So in my case, there are two interface connected, and I down that interface into the Linux server. Now, the challenge is how to up that specific interface. So, here, no worries how to up that interface. We use the same command, that is IP link state my device name, and here you have to change this state. I have used the up. Up means I want to up my interface into the Linux server. See, when you hit the up command, then you can check your device status. See, I am successfully bring up my network interface into the Linux server. So we use this activity for temporary and troubleshooting purpose. But be careful. Don't do this practical into your production environment, because when you down the working network interface into the production time, that time you have to face a big critical issues. Now we check routing table and default gateway in our system. With the help of IP root command, we can see our default route. With the help of IP route show command, you can see our default gateway and our IP address coming from the DSCP server. So, this basic information you will get from the IP route show command. The IP route show command you also use if you don't know which default gateway is point to your IP address, because when we do the practical into the testing lab, that time we use the normal network. In that normal network there is no production traffic coming and out, so that's why we not face any kind of issue when we bring up and bring down that network interface. But in production environment the things are different, because there are lots of network interface present and the traffic is continuously coming and out over that network interface, and some interface are belongs to your VLAN, and that VLAN is point to your network seat. That VLAN is point to your network switch. So be careful when you bring down any network interface. So here, if you don't know your IP address belong to which default gateway, so you can use IP route show command. Now we can set static IP permanently to our interface. Now Many people face this challenge how to set the static IP into the Linux environment. Static IP we call the permanent IP. So first we check the interface connection name with the help of nmcli connection show command. See, with the help of nmcli connection show command, we can see the device name, device UUID, device type, and the device name. These information we get with the help of nmcli connection show command. Now here we assume connection is wired 1. In my case, my connection is wired 1. In wired 1 connection, we configure the static IP. Now, how to configure the static IP to the wire connection 1 interface? So here with the help of nmcli connection modify, which connection we have to modify? Wired connection 1. Now that connection we have to use the static IP. So here we use ip4 dot method and use the manual command. Why? Because we have to set the static IP to that interface. And we give the IP address that is 192.168.1.235.134, and these are the gateway. So here we not use the DNS. We copy this command till the gateway and come to our second terminal. First we check what is the IP address of my interface. See, here my wired connection name is 2. So I change here instant of 1 to 2. Okay. And ENS224, my wired connection name is point to my ENS224 device. So that device, the IP address is allocated to 192.164.235.135. So here I change that 134 to 135. See, now I can set the static IP address to my ENS224 device. After set the static IP to my ENS224 device, then I bring down and bring up that connection See, here I bring down connection wire to successfully deactivated. Now, how to check that connection is deactivated? We can use nmcli connection show command. Let's see that device is present or not. See, that device is present, but we not identify that is connected or not. So we use nmcli device status command. Yes, with the help of nmcli device status command, we can see my wired connection to device is successfully down. Now I want to up my device. So instead of down, we use the up command and press the enter. Now successfully connection is activated. We use the nmcli device status command to check my device is successfully up or not. Now here my case, the ENS224 device is successfully activated. Here we learn how to set the static IP of your network interface and how to bring down and bring up that network interface with the help of nmcli device status command. In that command we cross verify that network interface is successfully disconnected or not. After successfully bring up and bring down the connection, we check and verify that interface with the help of IPA and IP root command. Here we use IPA command. See, my network interface is shows 192.168.235.135 and IP route command what shows us, it shows the default gateway belongs to our 192.168.235.135 IP address. But here we not able to find out how that interface get the static IP or DHCP IP. So here we check how that interface get the static or DHCP IP. In older system, Linux use /etc sysconfig network hyphen script command. In that script command, there are ifcfg file present and that file point to the network interface card. But in new system, the file path is changed. The file path is goes to /etc network manager /system connection directories. In that directory, we see that our network interface connections file. So this is the basic changes we found when the operating system changed into the Linux environment. In older version, you find that ifcfg file that's belong to the older interface. But in new interface, that file present into the /etc network manager system connection directory. So first we go /etc sysconfig and network hyphen script directory. When we go under the network hyphen script directory, here we can see readme hyphen ifcfg.rh.txt file. So we read this file and we get some information that network manager stores new network profile in key file format in the etc network manager system connection directories. Previously, network manager store network profile in ifcfg format in this directory. Which is this directory? That directory is etc sysconfig network hyphen scripts. However, the ifcfg format is deprecated. Now, when new operating system comes into the production environment, that time in new operating system that ifcfg format is deprecated and new format it's coming into the /etc sysconfig, sorry, that new format coming to etc network manager system connection directories. So we follow that directory and see what present inside that directory. So in that directory, we can see our network interface card details. First, we get our ENS 160 interface. In that interface, we can see the connection ID. That ID name is ENS 160. Then ENS 160 UUID is present. The type of ENS 160 is Ethernet. Then auto connect priority 999, interface name ENS 160. Here timestamp Ethernet, my IP version 4. Method auto. Method auto means we get the IP address from the DSCP server. That's why IP address for method auto is belong to your DSCP server. Now we check second interface. See, my second interface is ID name is wired connection to UUID that belongs to wire connection to. My type is Ethernet. Auto connect priority 999. interface name ENS224, timestamp. But here, instead of mode auto, we see my IP address is manual. How that IP address is come to the manual mode? Because see, because of this command, the method manual coming to the wire connection too. The method manual means we successfully set the static IP address to the wired connection to device with the help of nmcli connection mode. Here wire connection to IP4 method. IP4 method is manual and IP address. My address one is 192.168.235 134 and gateway is 192.168.235 2. So with the help of this command we can set the static IP into your interface. So here we successfully configured the static IP to our ENS224. And also we see the difference between older system and new system belongs to the network interface. Now, how to rename the connection of interface name? Now here nmcli device status. Here we can see ENS160. My device name is ENS160 and second device name is ENS224. But in my connection for ENS160, my connection name is ENS160. But ENS224, in that case, connection name is wired connection 2. So we have to change that connection for ENS224. Now, how it is possible to change that connection? So, for that, in Linux system have one provision to change that connection name in systematically way. First, we check the device status with the help of nmcli device status command. Now we have to rename connection of interface name. So simply we use the command of nmcli connection mode. Here my connection mode is 2. You can see my connection mode is 2. And which ID I need to give? See, here I have to give connection dot ID That ID name is ENS224. With the help of this command, we can set the connection name ID to our interface. Now you can lively see how we can see or change. You lively see that how we can set the connection name to our interface card. After successfully modify the connection name, verify using nmcli show command. You can check the both way your connection ID is successfully modified or not with the help of nmcli device status and nmcli connection show command. So with the help of these two commands, you can see your connection name is successfully modified or not. After that, you can also see what interface is permanent and what interface is temporary in your Linux system. With the help of nmcli-f, name, device, type, file, name, and your connection show command. With the help of this command, you can see your interface is permanent or temporary present in your Linux environment. So here you can see nmcli-f command. F command point to your network system file name. So here you can see /etc network manager system connection ENS 160, and other side also you can see ENS ENS224 device. That file system name is wired connection to that nm connection name. So we can see that our ENS 160 is belong to DHCP IP address and wire connection 2 is belong to the static IP address. Now the important point is when you see etc network manager hyphen system connection means that interface entry is permanently present in your Linux system. But run network manager system connection file name is present into your Linux system means that is used only for temporary and runtime basis. So these are the two differences of permanent and temporary network interface. After that, we can add a static route into your Linux environment. Now, how to add the static route? So, for temporary, we can add the static route with the help of IP route command. First, we check the IP address of Linux system with the help of IPR command. We put the hash and type my command IP route add which route I want to add into your Linux environment, that 10.10.20.0, that network I want to add via 192.168.235.2 gateway. Which interface I want to add? I want to add ENS 224 interface. So here I remove that hash and press enter and check. Now here what you can see, I see that for ENS 224, that IP address I successfully add another default route into Linux environment. Now here you can see for ENS 160 my default route is 192.168.235.2, but for ENS 224 my default route is 192.168.235.2, and also one more route I am adding, that is 10.10.2.0, means for that network interface my traffic coming from 192.168 and 10.10, from these two IP address I will get traffic to ENS 224 interface. So here we can see how to add the temporary route to ENS 224 interface. Like this, you can delete that default route for that interface with the help of IP route del and your default route. When you enter that command, you can see for ENS 224 that default route is deleted. Here we learn successfully how to add and delete the network route. Similarly, you can add that route permanently with the help of nmcli connection modify command. With the help of this command, first we check ls-lrth command, and in that command we see wire connection to interface name. So here we see that my default gateway is 192.168.235.2. Now when we modify that routes, let's see what happened. See, after modify that route, I can use the cat command to check. See, earlier my gateway only present 192.168.235.2. Here similarly, my gateway is same 192.168.235.2. After add the manual route into your Linux system, how it's work into the real scenario, let's see. Suppose your server and storage are in different network. Suppose this is your storage network. So your server can't talk to the storage directly. So this route tells that the server, if you want to connect storage network, that is 10 10 10 20, send the request to router 192.168.235 dot to IP address. Then router will forward to the storage. Without this route, storage connection will not work. So you can also configure the static route into the Linux environment. So here we can successfully add the static route See, after successfully add the static route, we have first down the interface and then we have to up that interface. Why? Because whatever changes you are doing into the configuration file, to reflect that changes, we have to restart the our service or network interface to reflect that changes. So here we successfully add the static route to talk with our storage. So this is a one kind of example how to add static route into the Linux environment. Now we check the connectivity testing and troubleshooting. Here, suppose your one of network interface IP is not working, so you can use the ping command to check that IP address is successfully ping or not. Here I am using my default gateway IP address to check the connectivity of the network. Now here I am giving any random number to check my connectivity is successfully connect or not. See, here is not reachable my 192.168.235.15 IP address. You can see the difference. First one I'll get the reply, and second one I'll get the destination host unreachable error. Not this kind of error. You can't say this is a error. We call this my destination host is unreachable, means we not found that server into the network. Similarly, you can check your internet is working or not with the help of 8888. This is a Google DNS. See, we successfully ping the Google DNS. Here you can also ping the google.com and also get the route from the google.com. See, IP route get command. So my ENS interface IP address is 192.168.235.134. My default gateway is 192.168.235.2, and that default gateway is goes via 8.8.8.8 to Google DNS. So with the help of this, you can find out any route of the IP address. Now, people doing common mistake into the production environment. If default gateway is changed from 192.168.235.2 to 192.168.235.3, that time your internet get stopped. Why? Because 192.168.235.3 is not a router IP address. This is a network design issue, not a Linux issue. So you can see my default gateway is talk to my Google DNS IP address. In short theory, IP address is the unique address of your machine. Subnet mask, that is /24, defines same network range. Default gateway is the router to outside network, means you want to talk the outside network, you want the router default gateway in your Linux system. In this video, we learn interface management, static IP, default gateway, static route, troubleshooting, and permanent versus temporary configuration. If you found this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you into the next video. Bye bye. Happy learning.